I love my wife. So, while she was on a business trip, our kids and I decided to surprise her by flying out to see her. But I learned that some surprises are only sweet for one side. The idea hit me like a lightning bolt at breakfast. Lily was poking at her cereal, and Jake was already half checked out, lost in whatever game he had on his phone. Emily had been gone for 3 days, another 4 to go. 7 in total. Way too long. "Hey, what if we went to see Mom?" I said, setting down my coffee. Lily's eyes went huge. "Like, just show up?" "Yeah, we can book flights today. Be there tonight." Imagine her face. Jake finally looked up. That'd be kinda cool. Which, from a 13-year-old, meant he was actually excited. I took that and ran with it. Within hours we were packed, tickets booked, excitement buzzing in the air like static electricity. I could already picture it. Emily opening her hotel room door, gasping in shock before pulling us all into a hug, maybe even tears. We hadn't had a moment like that in years. But something small nagged at me. Emily hadn't picked up when I called that morning. Not unusual. I texted. Me. "Hey, hope work's going okay. Just wanted to hear your voice." No response. An hour later, me. "Kids miss you. Call when you can." Still nothing. A little weird, but work trips get hectic. I brushed it off. We landed in Chicago that evening. The air was thick with city energy horns honking, lights flashing, that crisp smell of downtown streets. The kids were buzzing. I rented a car, loaded them in, and put the hotel address into my GPS. As I drove, my pulse picked up. I had told myself I wouldn't call Emily before we got there. I wanted it to be a pure surprise. But now something in me itched a bad itch. I hit dial. No answer. I glanced at the time. 9:43 p.m. Not that late. Maybe she was actually busy or asleep early. 5 minutes from the hotel, I tried again. Straight to voicemail. That itch was clawing now. Jake and Lily were laughing about something in the back seat, totally unaware of how tightly I was gripping the wheel. When we finally pulled into the hotel's front entrance, my heart was hammering for no good reason, I told myself. I told the kids to wait in the lobby while I got our room keys. "We're going to jump out at her, right?" Lily asked, bouncing on her toes. "Yeah," I said, but my voice came out tight. I walked to the check-in desk, forced a smile. "Hey, my wife is staying here, Emily Carter. I wanted to surprise her. Could you tell me her room number?" The receptionist smiled politely. "I'm sorry, sir. We can't give out guest room numbers." "Right, of course." I slid my credit card over. "Could you at least call up and tell her husband's here?" She nodded and picked up the phone. I watched her dial. "Wait." Then her expression shifted. "Oh," she said. Her eyes flickered to me. "She's not answering." My stomach twisted. "Maybe she's asleep," I offered. Because what was the other option? That she was ignoring the call? The woman hesitated, then glanced at her computer screen. It does say she checked in with a +1, though. +1. My vision tunneled. "Sorry, what?" My voice sounded distant, like it belonged to someone else. She blinked. Yeah. The room is under her name, but she listed an additional guest. I just thought you knew." I stared at her. And then I laughed, just laughed. Because what else do you do when you realize the mother of your children, the woman you flew across the country to surprise, booked a romantic hotel stay with someone else? My laugh must have unsettled the receptionist, because she immediately looked nervous. I wasn't even angry yet. I was in that weird space right before the explosion, where everything is too quiet inside your own head. "Sir?" she asked cautiously. "Who's the +1?" I asked, my voice too steady. She hesitated. "I can't disclose that information." I exhaled slowly through my nose. Right, okay then. I need a room. Her fingers flew over the keyboard. I could tell she was trying not to make eye contact. She knew. She knew exactly what kind of situation this was. A minute later, I had a room key in my hand. Same floor as Emily's, just a few doors down. Perfect. I walked back to the lobby, forcing my face into something that wouldn't freak out my kids. We're all set, I said, plastering on a smile. Let's go drop our stuff off first. Lily was practically skipping next to me. Can we see Mommy right away? Soon, I promised. We rode the elevator up. Jake was glued to his phone. Lily was humming some cartoon theme song. They had no idea. The room was nice, clean, unremarkable, but I barely saw it. I told the kids to get comfy, order whatever they wanted from room service. Then I stepped into the hallway. Emily's room was 4 doors down. I walked there slowly, my pulse throbbing in my ears. What was I about to see? A work friend crashing in her room? A perfectly innocent explanation? Or something else? I reached her door room 814. My hand hovered over it for a second. Then I knocked. No answer. I knocked again, harder this time. Still nothing. I knew she was in there. I could feel it. I pulled out my phone and texted her. Me. Hey, I'm at your hotel. Open the door. Read. No reply. I clenched my jaw so hard it hurt. Then, before I could overthink it, I turned on my heel and marched back downstairs. The receptionist looked surprised to see me again. Hey, I said, sliding my room key across the counter. I locked myself out. Can I get a new one? She nodded, started clicking away. Then I said casually, Oh, and could you add my wife's room to my key? We always do that when she travels, just in case. I smiled like a man who wasn't about to burn down his entire marriage. She hesitated. Then she swiped my card, tapped a few more keys, and handed it back. All set, she said. Thanks, I replied, and walked back upstairs. My feet felt numb. The key card was burning a hole in my palm. My pulse wasn't just pounding, it was roaring in my ears, like some primal instinct was screaming at me. This was it. I reached room 814 and exhaled slowly. If I was wrong, I'd look like a lunatic. If I was right, I didn't let myself think about that. I slid the key card in beep. The green light blinked. I turned the handle and pushed the door open. The first thing that hit me was the smell. That distinct mix of cologne, sweat, and something I couldn't let my brain name just yet. The kind of smell that didn't belong in a room my wife was supposed to be alone in. The room was dimly lit, just the bedside lamp on. And there, tangled up in the pristine white hotel sheets, was Emily. And some guy. I didn't even register his face at first. I was too busy staring at Hermie wife, the mother of my children, lying there in nothing but a sheet, barely covering her. Her eyes met mine, and for a split second, there was something terrifying in them. Not guilt, not shame, annoyance. Like I was the problem. Like my very presence was an inconvenience. Then, in a flash, her face transformed. She gasped, scrambling upright. Pulling the sheets up around her like that made any difference. Jason, she stammered, eyes wide. The guy next to her stirred, groggy. He had no idea what was happening yet. I stepped into the room and closed the door behind me. Who's he? My voice came out eerily calm. Emily looked between me and him like she was calculating her next move. Then she had the audacity to say, Jason, this isn't what it looks like. I barked out a laugh. A sharp, humorless sound that made the guy in the bed finally snap awake. He blinked up at me. Confused then, his face drained of color. Good. I turned my gaze back to my wife. Really? I asked, my voice still deceptively calm. Because it looks like you're naked in a hotel bed with another man. She swallowed hard. Two can explain. I crossed my arms. Then explain. Her mouth opened. Closed. Opened again. Then she sighed, rubbing her temples like I was giving her a headache. Jason, you're overreacting, she said, her voice suddenly firm. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. I felt something in my chest snap. The guy in bed, who finally had the sense to start pulling on his pants, cleared his throat. Maybe I should. Sit the F down, I growled, cutting him off without looking at him. Emily rolled her eyes. Rolled her eyes. This is so typical, she muttered under her breath. You always blow things out of proportion. I stared at her, stunned. Emily, I said slowly. I flew here, with our kids, to surprise you. Lily and Jake are down the hall thinking their mom is working hard on a business trip. She flinched at that just for a second. Then her expression hardened again. Jason, you don't understand. No, I think I understand perfectly. Silence stretched between us. Then finally, the guy spoke. Look, man, he said, holding his hands up. I had no idea she was married. Emily whipped around to him. Ryan shut up, but the damage was done. I smiled. Slow. Cold. So, Ryan, I said, you thought she was single? Ryan swallowed. Yeah, too mean. She never mentioned a husband. Or kids. Emily's face went pale. I turned back to her, jaw tightening. Wow, not even a mention of us, huh? She opened her mouth, but I wasn't done. You know what, Emily? I said, my voice dropping into something dangerously quiet. You're right. I don't understand. I took a step closer. So why don't you enlighten me? Her lips parted, but she had nothing to say. For the first time since I stepped into that room, she looked trapped. Her eyes darted to Ryan, then back to me. Then to the floor, like she was trying to rewire reality in her favor. I let the silence stretch. I wanted her to feel it. I wanted her to sit in the mess she made. Then finally she spoke. Jason, please, she whispered. It's not what you think. I laughed. A quiet, dangerous laugh. Oh? Because I think my wife is having a whole-ass affair in a hotel room while I'm raising our kids back home. And that looks about right to me. Her lips trembled. But then she did something that nearly broke me. She softened her voice, tilted her head slightly, reached for me like I was the one being unreasonable. Jason, I made a mistake, she said, her fingers brushing my wrist. But it's not what you think. Ryan shifted uncomfortably. Emily, I should probably... Shut up, Ryan, she snapped, whipping her head toward him so fast I flinched. I watched her. Watched the way her body tensed. The way she gritted her teeth. She wasn't ashamed. She was angry. Angry that she got caught. I took a step back, shaking my head. You know what? Just tell me the truth, Emily. For once. How long has this been going on? She hesitated just for a fraction of a second, but it was long enough. Ryan exhaled sharply, running a hand through his hair. Oh, F. Me, he muttered under his breath. That long, huh? I said, watching her closely. She snapped. Why does it matter? She burst out. Jason, seriously, why are you making this into some giant betrayal? I felt my whole body go cold. Some giant betrayal, I repeated, voice hollow. Emily groaned, running a hand through her hair like I was the frustrating one. Jason, you're a great dad, okay? A great husband. You work hard, but I needed... She stopped herself, squeezing her eyes shut. I took a slow, deliberate step forward. Say it. She didn't. So I did. You needed something else. She winced, but she didn't deny it. I sucked in a deep breath, trying to control the fire climbing up my throat. Emily, our kids are literally down the hall right now. Lily was so excited to see you, she couldn't stop bouncing the whole plane ride. And Jake actually put down his phone for more than 10 seconds just to come surprise you. She looked away. You weren't supposed to come, she muttered. My stomach dropped. I laughed. A choked, disbelieving laugh. Oh my God. You were hoping to get away with it. You were just going to come home, kiss our kids goodnight, and climb into our bed like nothing happened. She flinched, and then, like some demon had possessed her, lifted her chin and said the worst thing she could have said. You should have told me you were coming, Jason. The room tilted. Ryan muttered something under his breath, grabbing his bag. Yeah, I'm out. He bolted for the door like a rat, fleeing a sinking ship. I didn't even look at him. My entire world had just shifted on its axis. Are you... My voice cracked. I swallowed. Are you saying this is my fault? She crossed her arms, face unreadable. I'm saying, if you had told me, this wouldn't have happened. Something inside me snapped. I took a slow, shuddering breath, forcing myself to stay calm. Emily, this didn't happen because I showed up. This happened because you made a choice. She scoffed. Oh, please. Like you haven't been emotionally checked out for years. That one hit me hard. I took a step back. What the hell are you talking about? She rolled her eyes. Rolled her eyes. Jason, don't act like you're perfect, she said, like we were discussing something as small as forgetting to take the trash out. You barely even look at me anymore. You're always working, always with the kids, and she exhaled sharply. I just needed to feel like a woman again. I stared at her. I waited for the regret, for the realization to sink in. But she just stood there, her face set in stone. Like I was supposed to just accept that. Like I was supposed to understand. And that's when I knew there was nothing left to save. Something inside me shattered in knot in an explosive way. Not in a way that made me want to yell or throw something or punch a hole through the wall. No. It was the kind of break that left you feeling eerily calm, the kind that turned your soul to ice. I stared at my wife, this woman I'd built a life with, raised children with, and I realized she wasn't sorry. She wasn't ashamed. She was bored. I let out a breath, slow and steady, like I was grounding myself before stepping into a fight I already knew I was going to win. Okay, I said. Emily blinked. Okay, what? Okay, I repeated, tilting my head. I get it now. She shifted her weight, crossing her arms tighter over herself. Jason, don't do this. Don't be dramatic. You're not in love with me anymore, I interrupted. Her lips parted. I took a slow step forward. You haven't been in love with me for a long time, have you? Emily's jaw tightened. That's not. Just answer the damn question. She hesitated. Then, with a shrug so casual it made my skin crawl, she said, I don't know. I laughed, actually laughed because what else was there to do? Wow, I ran a hand down my face. You don't know? Her expression turned annoyed again, like I was dragging this out too long. Jason, I didn't plan for this to happen, she said. Like that made it better. It felt good to be wanted. I stared at her. You think I don't want you? She rolled her eyes. Not in the same way. Not like before. You mean not like a stranger in a hotel bed? She flinched. That's not fair, she snapped. Fair? My voice thundered through the room. Oh, I'm sorry, Emily. Is this situation not fair to you? Is this hard for you? She had the nerve to look away. You want to feel like a woman again? I scoffed. Try feeling like a husband who just found out his wife has been sneaking off to hotel rooms with random men while his kids beg for her attention back home. She let out a slow breath, pressing her fingers to her temples like I was giving her a headache. And that's when I knew she wasn't listening. She wasn't processing. She was just waiting for me to shut up. I looked at her. Really looked at her. At the woman who used to cry when we watched sad movies. Who used to leave little notes in my lunchbox before work. Who used to laugh so hard she couldn't breathe when Jake told his dumb little jokes at dinner. She wasn't that person anymore. Or maybe she was, and I just wasn't worth it to her anymore. Either way, I was done. I turned toward the door. Emily stiffened. "Where are you going?" I paused, glancing over my shoulder. "To our kids. The ones you apparently forgot existed while you were busy feeling like a woman again." Her face twisted into something ugly. "Don't be dramatic, Jason." I laughed under my breath. "You haven't seen dramatic yet." Then I walked out the door and left her there standing in the wreckage of everything she destroyed. I walked down the hotel hallway, my legs moving like they weren't even mine. My body felt heavy, like someone had tied bricks to my shoulders, but my mind was screaming at me to keep going. Because just down the hall in room 810 me kids were waiting. Lily was probably sitting cross-legged on the bed, giggling at some cartoon, still bouncing with excitement over the surprise we had planned. Jake was probably halfway through a burger from room service, already texting his friends about how Chicago is kinda sick, actually. They had no idea. No idea that their mother had just torn our family in half in a stupid, dimly lit hotel room with some guy named Ryan. No idea that the dad who walked out that door wasn't the same man anymore. I stopped in front of our door. 8,814 to 810. Just 4 rooms apart. 4 doors down. Their mother was probably still sitting in bed, running her hands through her Uranoid at me. Not guilty. Not heartbroken. Just annoyed. I clenched my jaw so hard it ached. Then finally, I swiped the keycard. Beep. Green light. The door opened, and I barely had time to step inside before Lily came flying at me. "Daddy, did you see her?" she squealed, hugging my waist. Was she so happy? Did she cry? The lump in my throat nearly choked me. I forced a smile, swallowing the bile rising. "Not yet, baby," I murmured, running a hand through her soft curls. "She was busy. We'll see her in the morning, okay?" Her little face scrunched in confusion. "Oh, okay." But she was so trusting, so pure, that she just nodded and let it go. Jake was lying on his bed, one arm behind his head, half watching TV. "So what's the plan?" he asked, popping a fry into his mouth. My mind blanked. Plan? There was no plan anymore. I was standing in this room, pretending like everything was fine, while their mother was probably scrambling for excuses just 4 doors away. I had to get them out of here. "You guys want to do something fun?" I said suddenly, forcing my voice into something light, normal. Like, I don't know, get some ice cream? Walk around the city a little before bed?" Lily gasped, like I just told her she won the lottery. "Yes!" Jake raised an eyebrow, but shrugged. "Yeah, sure. Why not?" "Cool." I grabbed my wallet, stuffing it into my jacket. "Let's go, then." Lily scrambled for her shoes. Jake pocketed his phone. I took one last look around the room, the place I thought was just a fun family trip an hour ago, before stepping out, making sure to leave everything behind. Because we weren't coming back. We stepped out of the hotel, and the night air hit me like a shock to the system. Crisp. Cool. Real. I needed that because nothing else felt real anymore. Lily grabbed my hand, swinging our arms as we walked down the busy Chicago sidewalk. Jake stuffed his hands into his hoodie pocket, earbuds dangling around his neck, glancing around like he was actually enjoying this. And me? I was just trying to breathe, trying to ignore the weight of the phone in my pocket, trying to push down the rage sitting in my gut like burning coals, trying to act normal because they couldn't know. "Not yet. Can I get 2 scoops?" Lily asked, practically skipping beside me. I forced a smile. "You can get 3. Her whole face lit up. "Best night ever," Jake snorted. "Dad's in a good mood. We should take advantage before he realizes we're out past bedtime." They had no idea. We found a small ice cream shop, neon lights glowing against the dark streets. The smell of waffle cones and sugar hit me like a memory from a lifetime ago when things were simple. When a surprise trip meant happiness, not disaster. We ordered. Lily got rainbow sprinkles. Jake got chocolate fudge. I got something. I didn't even know what. I just needed to keep moving. Keep the night from collapsing in on itself. We sat at a little table by the window, and for a while, it almost felt normal. Lily talked about school. Jake made fun of the way she still colored outside the lines. I nodded, laughed when I was supposed to, took bites of my ice cream that tasted like nothing. Then my phone buzzed. I knew who it was before I even looked. My stomach twisted as I pulled it out. One new message. "Emily. Jason, where are you?" I stared at it. My thumb hovered over the screen, and then I turned the phone off, slid it back into my pocket, because she didn't get to ask that. Not after what she did. "Hey, Dad." Jake's voice pulled me back. I looked up. "You okay?" I hesitated. Then finally I smiled. A real one this time. "Yeah, buddy," I said, glancing between him and Lily. "I'm perfect." Because for the first time all night, I wasn't thinking about her. I was thinking about Usand, how I was going to get my kids the hell away from her. By the time we got back to the hotel, I had made up my mind. We weren't staying. I didn't care that our luggage was still in the room. I didn't care that we had technically booked the trip for 2 more nights. I was getting my kids out of this mess before it touched them. "All right, guys," I said, forcing my voice into something casual as we stepped into the elevator. "Change of plans. We're heading home tonight." Lily gasped. "What? But we just got here?" Jake furrowed his brow. "Why? What about Mom?" I exhaled slowly. Something came up. Jake stared at me. He wasn't stupid. He knew something was off. But Lily was still too young to see the cracks in my voice, and I needed to keep it that way. "But Daddy," she whined, her lower lip jutting out. "We didn't even get to surprise her yet." I swallowed the lump in my throat. "I know, baby, but we'll see her when we get home, okay?" The elevator dinged on our floor. We stepped out, heading toward our room. Just keep moving. Keep them distracted. But the moment we turned the corner, Emily was there standing right outside our room, arms crossed, waiting. Lily lit up. "Mommy." She ran toward her, but I caught her by the shoulders just before she reached her. "Go inside, Lil," I said, my voice steady but firm. "Jake, take her." Jake hesitated, glancing between me and Emily. He knew something was wrong, but finally, he nodded. "Come on, Lil." "But now," I said, my eyes never leaving Emily's. Lily pouted, but she followed Jake inside. The door shut behind them. And just like that, it was just us. Emily let out a sharp exhale. "What the hell, Jason?" I stayed silent, just watched her. She looked disheveled hair, messy, eyes sharp like she had been pacing ever since I left her in that room with Ryan. "Good," she scoffed. "Oh, so now you're not talking? That's real mature." I clenched my jaw. "What do you want, Emily?" She threw her arms up. "I want to talk. You just stormed out like a lunatic, took our kids and disappeared. Do you have any idea how that looks?" I let out a quiet, bitter sound. "Oh, I'm sorry. Does it look bad for you, Emily? Does it look like maybe you're a terrible wife and mother? 'Cause guess what? You are." Her face twisted. "Jason, lower your voice." "Or what?" I stepped closer, towering over her. "You don't get to tell me what to do anymore." She flinched. For the first time, real fear flashed in her eyes. Good. She should be afraid not of me hurting her, but of what came next. Because I wasn't just mad, I was done. Jason, she tried again, softer this time. Please, let's just go inside and talk. I shook my head. There's nothing to talk about. Yes, there is. Her voice cracked. This is our family, Jason. I let the silence stretch, let her squirm in it. Then finally, I said the words I knew would break her. You should have thought about that before you got into bed with another man. Her face crumbled. For the first time all night, she looked like she actually felt it. Like she finally understood what she had destroyed. But it was too late. I pulled my room key from my pocket, opened the door, and stepped inside. Before I shut it, I turned back to her one last time. I'll be filing for divorce when we get home. Then I closed the door in her face. The moment the door clicked shut, I let out a breath I didn't even realize I was holding. My hands were shaking. My jaw was so tight it ached. But my mind, clear. This was happening. I was done. And there was no coming back from it. Who was that? Lily asked from the bed, her little legs swinging over the edge. I turned, forcing a smile. Just someone from the hotel, baby. Jake didn't buy it. He was sitting against the headboard, arms crossed, watching me. Was it Mom? He asked flatly. I hesitated. Lying to Lily was one thing. She was too young to understand any of this. But Jake? He saw too much. I sighed, rubbing a hand over my face. Yeah, his expression didn't change. You guys fought. It wasn't a question. I exhaled. We just had a talk. He stared at me for a long second, then quietly said, Are you and Mom getting divorced? Felt like a punch to the ribs. Lily froze, her big innocent eyes darting between us. Wait, what? Damn it, Jake. I crouched in front of them, choosing my words carefully. Listen, I said softly. Mom and I are working through some things, but no matter what happens, we both love you. Okay? Lily's eyes filled with tears. But I don't want you to break up. My heart shattered. I pulled her into my arms, hugging her tight. Oh, baby girl, I whispered, kissing the top of her head. It's going to be okay. I promise. Over her shoulder, I met Jake's gaze. He wasn't crying. He wasn't yelling. He just looked tired. And in that moment, I knew he already understood. He knew things weren't fixable. He just wasn't ready to say it out loud yet. Lily sniffled against my shirt. Can we just go home now? I swallowed the lump in my throat. Yeah, baby, we're going home. Jake nodded. Good. And just like that, it was decided. We were leaving. I grabbed my phone and booked the earliest flight out. One way, no return. Because we weren't coming back, not to this hotel, not to this city, not to her. By the time we reached the airport, the weight on my chest had settled into something cold, heavy, but steady. It was over. No more pretending. No more pushing through the lies. No more waiting for Emily to come home, only to feel like a ghost in my own marriage. The only thing that mattered now was getting them out my kids. Lily was half asleep against my side as we sat at the gate. Her little fingers still curled around my sleeve like she was afraid I'd disappear. Jake had his hood up, scrolling through his phone, but I could tell he wasn't really looking at anything. He was processing, thinking. I didn't check my phone not once. I knew Emily was texting, calling, probably spiraling. But she wasn't my problem anymore. Do you think Mom's going to come home after us? Lily mumbled, voice thick with sleep. I forced my fingers to unclench. I don't know, baby. She yawned, rubbing her eyes. I hope she does. I didn't answer, because I couldn't lie to her. Jake, on the other hand, snorted under his breath. She won't. I shot him a warning look, but he just shook his head. She didn't care we were here, Dad. She didn't even ask to see us. His voice was quiet, but sharp. She only wanted to talk to you. That says enough. I winced because he was right. Emily hadn't fought to see them, hadn't called me begging to hug Lily one last time, to apologize to Jake, to explain herself. She had only wanted to control the situation. And when she couldn't, she let them leave without even a goodbye. Lily blinked up at me, confused. Mommy still loves us though, right? My throat closed up. Of course she does, I murmured, pressing a kiss to her forehead. She always will. Maybe that was true. Maybe Emily did love them in her own way. But love wasn't enough. Because if it was, we wouldn't be sitting here, waiting for a flight back home without her. A flight attendant's voice crackled over the intercom. Our plane was boarding. Come on, I said, standing and grabbing Lily's small backpack. Let's go home. Jake didn't say anything, just nodded. And as we walked toward that plane, something in me felt lighter. Because for the first time in a long, long time, I wasn't just leaving Emily behind. I was taking my life back. The flight was quiet. Lily curled up against my side, her tiny body rising and falling with the deep rhythm of sleep only a child can manage after heartbreak. Jake had his earbuds in, staring blankly out the window, but he wasn't listening to anything I could tell. He was somewhere else, stuck in the in-between of childhood and everything this week had forced him to grow past. And me? I sat still, unmoving, staring at the seat in front of me like it could somehow distract me from the ache in my chest. I ran through everything. The hotel, Emily's face, Lily calling out for her, Jake watching me, like he was waiting for me to lie. And the door I closed in Emily's face. It didn't feel real. It felt like something that happened to someone else. Someone braver. Or maybe just someone who finally broke. When we landed, the sky outside was a soft gray. It looked like morning didn't really want to begin either. I loaded the kids into the car. The silence wasn't awkward, it was heavy. Like the car itself was trying to carry the weight of what we left behind. No one said anything. Not Jake, not Lily, not even me. And that was maybe the worst part. We pulled into the driveway, and the stillness hit me again. Home. That word didn't mean what it used to. Lily stretched and yawned as I opened her door. Mom's still at the hotel, right? Jake glanced at me in the rearview mirror, waiting. I took a breath. Yeah, baby. She nodded. Like that was good enough. Okay. I'm gonna make her a card for when she gets home. Jake looked away. Didn't say a thing. I unlocked the front door. The house felt cold, not temperature-wise, but in that strange way a place can feel when love's been yanked from its walls. Lily kicked off her shoes and ran to the living room, already rummaging for crayons. Jake walked in slower, his eyes scanning the space like he was trying to remember something about it, maybe the last time it felt whole. I dropped my bag by the door, exhaling. Then, my eyes flicked unwillingly to the kitchen counter. Her coffee mug was still there, untouched. From the morning she left. It was just sitting there, like it was waiting for her to come back and drink it. Like part of the house still believed she would. Jake followed my gaze and scoffed. Guess you don't have to make her coffee anymore. I swallowed hard. Jake, it's fine, he muttered, already heading upstairs. I'm just going to my room. I let him go, because what was I supposed to say? That it wasn't fine? That I wished things were different? That part of me still wished she'd been a better liar, at least long enough for me to keep believing in the life we built. I closed my eyes, ran a hand over my face, then turned toward Lily. She was already sitting at the kitchen table, tongue sticking out in concentration as she colored furiously on a piece of paper. Daddy, how do you spell love? My throat tightened. I crouched beside her, brushing a curl from her cheek. Love, baby. She grinned, carefully writing each letter in big, uneven handwriting. Love. Underneath it, she wrote, "To Mommy. From me." I had to look away. I couldn't do this. Not right now. Not when she still believed her mom was coming back. Not when I wasn't sure how to tell her the truth. Not when I wasn't even sure what home was anymore. The house was quiet. Too quiet. Jake's door was shut. He was probably texting his friends, trying to explain how his family exploded overnight. And Lily was humming softly as she colored in a heart next to the word Mom. And me? I was just standing there, staring at my daughter's perfect little handwriting, wondering how the hell I was supposed to tell her that her mom had already left long before we did. I reached for my phone. No new messages. No missed calls. Emily had stopped trying. No dramatic texts. No fake apologies. No begging. She had let go. And that hit me harder than anything else. After years of choosing her every day, every argument, every storm, I realized, the second she couldn't control the story, she stopped choosing us at all. "Daddy?" Lily's soft voice broke through the fog. I looked down. Her big round eyes blinked up at me, full of trust. Innocent. Hopeful. "When's Mommy coming home?" My chest felt like it was caving in. How do you tell a 6-year-old the truth? How do you say the woman who tucked her in, who kissed her scraped knees, who whispered forever into her tiny ears, wasn't coming back? You don't. Not like that. I crouched beside her again, brushing my hand over her curls. "Mommy's gonna be away for a while, baby." She frowned. "Why?" I swallowed hard. "Because grown-ups, they don't always get things right. And sometimes when they make mistakes, they have to go figure things out on their own." She considered that, tracing her little fingers over the heart she had drawn. "But she still loves me, right?" My breath hitched. I forced a smile. "She'll always love you." It wasn't the full truth, but it was her truth. The one she needed. The one she'd hold on to till she was old enough to understand the real version. She beamed. "Okay, then I'll save this for her, when she gets back." I nodded, my throat too tight to speak, because she didn't know. She didn't know that the card she just made would sit on that counter for days. Weeks. Months. She didn't know she'd come downstairs every morning for a while, expecting to see her mom drinking coffee at the table. She didn't know that one day, she'd stop asking. That one day, she'd forget she ever made this card at all. And that was the part that broke me the most. Because no matter how much I hated Emily for what she did, I hated that she could still break our daughter's heart without even being here.